Hi everyone, my name is Thomas de Sorisi. I'm the Business Development Manager for the retail industry, and I'm going to present in the next 45 minutes videos. Objective of this video is really to give all the EMEA retail AE and SE the fundamentals in terms of what is retail industry, what are the challenges that this industry is facing, especially here in Europe, what value proposition Salesforce is proposing for this retail industry, and what are the key stories that we need to master, all of us, especially here in EMEA. So that's the objective. In terms of the PCs, you're going to see 3 PCs. So the main one is all around EMEA retail sales value proposition. And I will try to make it concrete with a few use cases, a few stories that we need to master, all of us, and then 2 quick focus that I think would be interesting for you to see. Number 1 is on Commerce Cloud. So Commerce Cloud, and you know that like the starting point is really a discussion about cloud versus on-premise. So I wanted to share with you a video that has been done by Commerce Cloud, actually by Demandware before the acquisition, but it's a nice video that I think every one of us should master. And then the third piece is about Customer 360, and the demo that has been done during the sales kickoff a few weeks ago. So that's the plan. Let me start with the first piece, which is Salesforce EMEA retail sales value proposition. And a few slides that I'm going to show. I've been done in collaboration with the HQ team. So thanks Maria for your support on that one, Maria and Gia. So first, and this slide is not part of the first call deck, but I think that the 2 main messages that you need to remember and that you need to communicate to your customer when you are talking about retail. Salesforce, especially here in EMEA, we are uniquely positioned in retail in this industry, and for 2 main reasons. Reason number 1 is in terms of solution fit. We are the only software vendor capable to connect on the same platform consumer, so really B2C, stores, B2B, and employee. And I think that's really a key differentiator when you manage to position the discussion and to elevate a bit the discussion with your customer and bring especially the store topic or the employee topic. It's really, really powerful. And when we do that, we have limited competition against I don't know, Adobe, which will be super good in B2C, against Ibris, etc., etc. And one concrete use case, I think it's like the Auchan story. From my understanding, when we managed to say that on the same platform we could put also all the employee, that's really when we won the deal. Like a few, but you know that on the B2C space, we acquired like Crocs a few years ago. We acquired Demandware, and there is this ongoing initiative to make all clouds really interlinked. This famous Customer 360 initiative, and there's going to be a video on that one. So that's really B2C. On B2B, like the most innovative piece might be like Einstein Analytics, so the acquisition of Beyond Core to do, for instance, markdown optimization. That's what we do with Orsay, like a famous retailer, and I will tell you a bit more on that one in a sec. And then on the employee piece, you saw at Dreamforce this year a lot of emphasis on Mile Trailhead, on Quip, and on a lot of things. So this solution fit, I think, is really important and really a key thing that we need to remember discussing with our customers. And then the second piece is in terms of wins. We had a lot of traction in this industry in the past months, in all retail sub-industries. And you see a few logos like below. One comment on that one, I think, especially here in EMEA, a lot of traction around the big food grocery retailer that we have. It can be Lidl, it can be Carrefour in Spain, Système U, Ahold, etc., Auchan, etc., etc. So a big focus on that like this year. So let me go a bit more into detail and pitch the few slides that you might know. Yes, Salesforce, we are since 1999, like bringing retailers really closer to the shopper since 1999 in all retail subsegment actually. So you see here 6: luxury, like with big brands like Kering, with LVMH, with Supply, specialty, department store, food and drug, as I was mentioning before, restaurant, and retailer, and the collaboration and the great partnership that we have with all these brands helped us to really frame a dedicated value proposition for retailer that I'm going to present in the next slide. So when we hear about all these nice logos, and when we hear about what are the challenges of the industry, what what do they tell us? Basically, what they tell us is the importance of experience. Actually, we did a little study. By 2020, the number one key differentiating factors when people will choose product will be experience and will be service. Today, a lot of focus is on product, so a lot of focus about the product characteristic, a lot of focus about the price. So and that's what retailers know how to perform in these two like dimension in these two criteria. But by 2020, the third one, which is all what is around the product, which is all the experience, all the service, etc., will be the number one key differentiating factor. That's a good news for Salesforce, because basically that's what we can bring to our customer. And so that being said, all this concept of experience, I think two interesting things. Number one, yes, there is what we call the connected crisis, but there is a gap between all all the data that have been generated by the consumer and on one hand, and actually the good news is 67% of people are now okay to exchange data and to share their data if they can have a faster service, if they can have an enhanced experience. I think that's a good news. That's a good news, because a few months ago we were, and a lot of customers are asking us, yes, but my customer, they don't want to share their data. I think it's a bit too, etc. No, now 67% of people are saying, yes, I'm okay to share my data if I can have like a premium experience, and if I see some value based on that. So that's a good news. But yes, this data, a lot of data generated by the consumer, but a lot of silos on the other hand. And that's like the consumer gap. A lot of silos, especially in the retail industry, between business unit, between geographies, between call center, stores, marketing, etc. So really, the objective of Salesforce is to close this gap, to make sure that we have a 360 view of our shoppers, to really make sure that we can provide them an enhanced and the best in class experience. So that being said, I think three main pillars to answer this needs and this need of collaboration from the retailer. One pillar is all around connected shoppers. It's the main one, like B2C one. How we can help retailers to further connect with their shoppers, to further collect data and acquire like consumer number one, and then use this data to really engage with the end consumer, engage them with tailored one-on-one marketing journey, engage them with dedicated 360 customer care, engage them with tailored e-commerce, with loyalty apps, etc. So this is really like the main pillars for retailers. You see here like a few logos that are public, and I'm going to share a few stories in a second. That one. So that's really the first and the biggest pillar for Salesforce in retail. Then the second one is all around stores. We know that stores, they have to transform. Basically, retailers, they have to transform. They have this physical space that they need to transform. What we say and what we hear when we listen to what retailers are saying is that stores might be a bit like the ultimate media. So it might be one of the touch point and the main touch point from retailers with their shoppers. And that's their like a way for them to really showcase what are their brand value, what are their brand equity, what are their etc. To really make sure that they use this ultimate physical space to transmit all what they want around their brand. So that's like the connected stores, and we Salesforce, we can help to make that happen. You see a few logos, and I will tell that in a sec. And then the third piece, which is actually really important, we're at NRF a few weeks ago, and we had a super interesting interview from the CEO of Walmart, and actually he said, he was really clear on that one, saying, we retailers, we have a lot of employees. We can't make our digital transformation happen without them. So it's really a priority one for us to embark our employee and to make sure they're the one like driving the transformation, and they're the cornerstone of our transformation. So that's really, I think, a message that resonates super well with what Salesforce can offer, and I will detail that in a sec. How do we do that? As I said before, I think like a lot of emphasis should be put on the fact that on the same platform, and you know this slide, on the same platform, we can really bring B2C at scale, B2B, and also transversal, like around that B2E. So employee, consumer, and stores, they can be all together on the same platform. And you see some number that really impressive to make that at scale. And concretely, what does that mean? It means that putting the shopper in the center. But like on a side note on that one, and when I present this slide, I like to say that. So you can think of the person in the center as three person actually. Of course, you can think of the shopper, so the B2C shopper, and think marketing, commerce, service for the shopper, and have like a 360 view of this consumer, of this shopper. So that's really the main one and the biggest and the biggest use case. But also you can put in the center your stores, and actually, which is quite interesting in franchises management, really also B2B play. You can put the stores in the center and make sure that you communicate with marketing in the right way. You have like B2B commerce in the right way. You have service, you have communities, etc., etc. Putting really the stores in the center. And then last but not least, you can put, I think, of this customer as your employee also, and put your employee in the center and make sure that you have this 360 view of your employee, and that you engage your employee in the perfect way. Okay, so now let me detail you a little bit like what are these three pillars: connected shoppers, connected stores, and connected employee. So when we talk about connected shoppers, like the core and the first thing is to really acquire the consumer. So here we can think of course DMP, so like segmentation. We can extract some consumer insight. We can help our retailers to build CDP platform, really around like the consumer acquisition. Then once we have a set of consumer, and we acquired our consumer, we need to find ways to engage with them through one-to-one journeys, through consumer apps, through loyalty. So that's really the second phase. Then we need to sell them, we need to serve them through call centers, self-service, etc., etc. And then last but not least, all around brand marketing. So all what we can do to listen to what people are saying on social medias is really important, and we can have dedicated tools to help brand do that. So that's really the core of our offering in Salesforce. Like terms, it's all around marketing cloud, commerce cloud, service cloud, community, apps, etc., etc. Then the second pillar is all around connected stores, seeing the store as the ultimate media. And so here, four value propositions that we have in this space. One is all around unified commerce. So here you have clienteling, you have e-commerce, of course, you have mobile point of sale, etc., etc. You have store analytics. I think this one is quite interesting, and I will show you a few examples to help retailers manage their stores in terms of KPI, where do I stand, etc., etc. And then when we talk about Einstein for retail, I think markdown optimization and Einstein analytics with the store KPI is super interesting. And so that's basically what we are doing with Orsay, and I will tell you a bit more in a sec. Store analytics, franchises management, as I was saying before, really important. Depends a bit of your retailers, but it's basically all the CPG plays that we know really well to do, that we can apply for all these franchises management. So when we say that, we talk about retail execution, so how to equip your field sales team with mobile, online, offline applications, so they can like visit the different stores and ensure everything is well done in the stores, that products are well displayed, promotion are well done, pricing is okay, etc., etc. And then around that is really to build a 360 view of the stores, of the retailer. We can have like B2B portal, we can have telesales console, and everything on the same platform. So franchises management, and then operation, which is like a growing play for us with order management system, like a few things that we can do also in factories. And here we have plays that are really close to the manufacturing play that we can have. So that's connected stores in a nutshell. And then last but not least, connected employee. So all what we can do to help retailers treat their employee as they deserve, and really think of their employee as the cornerstone of their digital transformation. So we can do a lot of things around employee lifecycle management, in terms of onboarding, in terms of e-learning, in terms of performance management, etc., etc. In terms of employee engagement with HR portal, intranet apps, in terms of employee productivity. So we know that Chatter is a great collaboration tool. We can have a lot of productivity apps like with Center of Excellence, etc., etc. And then last but not least, employee service. So that's more or less our concierge that we can bring to to our customers. So that's was in a nutshell like the three main pillars. Now what I'm going to show you is a bit of like a few stories that are, most of them are public, and you will see the slides, and that's the one that I think you should master to illustrate the different value proposition that we have. So let me start first with the connected shopper play. So the B2C, the main one: consumer acquisition, consumer engagement, service excellence, and brand marketing. So Adidas, you know that for Dreamforce was really like our showcased like customers. We are doing a lot of things with them. Big commerce cloud customer, big service cloud customer, big marketing cloud customer, etc., etc. And so this story, you need to, so there is, you know, this slide. There is a lot of notes under the under the slide. So I really engage you, and we have a lot of videos. We really engage you to master these stories, because it's like the best like story that we have in apparel worldwide. A really good one, a really close partnership that we have with Adidas. So this story, you should really master it. So now, if we take the entire B2C like cycle and all the connected stores, everything starts with DMP, actually with the acquisition of the customer. And I think that's like Ritual's story. Rituals is a great trailblazer and a great partner of us. This story is quite new, so that's why I wanted you to know that. And Rituals is a really good Salesforce customer with Commerce Cloud, with Service Cloud, but also with Salesforce DMP since not a long time. So this story, in terms of consumer acquisition, I think is really good to master. So that's the consumer acquisition. Another, I think, and you know that the objective of this video is not to like enable you on everything. Yeah, I think in DMP is quite an important and complex play, but just in a nutshell, I think you have a lot of different use cases for DMP. I think two that are particularly relevant for retailers and particularly interesting. One is about consumer acquisition. So make sure that when you have a core base of consumer that you know, you can extend and enlarge this base with DMP, and making sure that I know my customer, usually what they do when they are online, that maybe, I don't know, what they do on the L'Equipe website, then they check a bit the news, etc., etc. And so I recognize like a patterns within my consumer that I know that they do that online. So let me extend my audience, let me do lookalike like segmentation to extend and try to capture other customers that are doing exactly the same things, that are not my customer yet, but they are doing the same things online, and let me sure to target these people. So consumer acquisition, of course, is a big play. And then I think a play which is quite important to master, because like, from my understanding, that's the play with the highest ROI and the like the more direct ROI is like the one on media optimization. And so that's basically the story of Kellogg's. Everything is based on the fact that with Salesforce DMP, you can have a super good algorithm in terms of multi-device matching. So it means that like Salesforce DMP, they know that even if you are not logged in, your computer is yours, and your computer is connected. You are Mr. X. You have this computer, you have this phone, you have this iPad, and you have all these devices are more or less related. And behind these all devices, there is one single person. And knowing that, it really helped to optimize the media, like the media spent, because what we see, and that's what was shown here, is that you have an optimal numbers of frequency of facing of ad that you need to be efficient. So meaning like 12 times months I can have a Kellogg's advertising. It will be meaningful for me. If I have less than that, it's not optimal. If I have more than that, it's not good for me, because I'm going to get a bit pissed, because I see Kellogg's all the time. And when you understand that there is an optimal in terms of media frequency, you understand that the multi-device matching algorithm allow you to really understand that this is the same person behind these devices. And so instead of sending 3 times 12 Kellogg's ad, one on your laptop, one on your mobile, one on your iPad, it knows that. And when you reach this 12, like this number of 12 with all your devices, it stops and it reallocates the money to really make sure that everyone is at the same number. So that's, I think, something quite important to understand with DMP. Then also to acquire and to engage with your consumer, you can use B2C loyalty apps. So that's what we have done in Europe with the KFC loyalty app. So you see here a screenshot. I think something quite interesting to know about these loyalty apps. Number one, we have a lot of partners and a lot of good partners for loyalty, Session M, etc. But this one was done entirely on Heroku without any ISV. I think it's interesting to point, number one. And then number two, also for you to know, because that's often asked from the retailer, can I have a pricing by store? Can I have a pricing by restaurant? And actually, for this one, that's what we did. We managed to do for KFC a pricing by restaurant of this loyalty apps. So that's quite interesting. Then once you acquire the consumer, you need to engage with them through tailored one-on-one discussion and using Marketing Cloud. So Scotch and Soda is a great example of this one. John Lewis, Waitrose, great example of this one. Lidl is also a great example of this one. So Lidl is truly a trailblazer. I think interesting to notice on the Lidl story, maybe two things. One thing is about like Service Cloud, and when you discuss with your customers, I think the approach of Lidl is quite interesting. So basically, Service Cloud it's an omni-channel Service Cloud, so it's working everywhere. But like the approach and the strategy of Lidl is really to not have tons of employee in stores. And so basically their approach, when you go in a little Lidl store, they have a lot of poster on the wall and saying, if you have a question, if you have any question, basically reach out to this number and then someone is going to pick up your call and answer your question. So basically they don't have a lot of employee trained in stores to answer the question of the customer, but they have like super good call center with people super good, able to answer to all the needs, which is I think a quite interesting approach when talk about like this service and in terms of bringing maybe some additional benefits. So that's the Lidl story. That is really interesting to master. And yeah, maybe something else. Quite important also to know, especially for food retailer. If we have to say the sweet spot of Salesforce for food retailer, it's really the combination Service Cloud plus Marketing Cloud. It's something that is working really well. That's something that we did with Lidl. That's something that we did with Auchan. It's really a good combination, Service Cloud plus Marketing Cloud, and to say basically we're going to transform your consumer relationship. It means the way you engage with your consumer with Marketing Cloud and the way you serve them with Service Cloud. Then also Supply, but you know this story because with Supply, I think I've been quite highly promoted, but it's really a good one. Once that I wanted to show because I think it's quite visual and quite interesting. And thanks Nick for for this screenshot. But it's basically all what they can know on their end consumer, and you see here all the data that they have on you to ensure a perfect and best-in-class service. So here you see all the messages that you can send to your end consumer, but here you see all the data that you can have on your consumer. It can be like the total spend, it can be like the type of color that they like, the shoe size, and etc. So it's really having all the data of your end consumer to help like retailers like Sweet Supply engage in the best way and serve their customer in the best way. Then I would like the last play, which is all around like brand marketing. I think is quite interesting, especially for food restaurant and for food restaurant chain. And so because we all know that if there is a bad buzz on internet because I don't know, like the pizza is bad, there was a rat in my burger, etc. It's really important to really control what people are saying quite quickly. So we have this example with La Durée and using Social Studio to do that. I think something which is also quite powerful because we see that also in the restaurant chain is a lot of fast food restaurant chain, they have one Facebook page by restaurant. And so when you think of basically Social Studio as the command center, it's really a way using Social Studio to be the command center and to manage all the interaction that people have with you on your Facebook page in a centralized way. Okay, so that was really in a nutshell, but please look at the slides and make sure that you master the stories. Then we let me tell you a bit more on the second pillar, which is connected stores, and let me share the same way a few interesting stories that I think are interesting. So actually, in terms of employee apps, I think we all know on clienteling, basically like the way you can provide your store associate with best in class apps. I don't know if you saw the session with Matches Fashion at Dreamforce, which was super powerful with a really best-in-class clienteling apps doing a lot of things. But I think we tend to think that clienteling is really made for luxury brand and for apparel, but actually this concept of empowering your employee to make sure they can deliver a best-in-class service in stores, it's actually something that can also be delivered for food retailers. So this short video is not public. Thanks just for sharing it. It's actually like the apps that have been done for Yumbo employee that has been I think deployed. The first pilot was in 2 weeks, something really quick. And basically it's a way uh, for employee, whenever they have like whenever there is a question, so people are asking the employee, where can I find this product, what the most recent promotion, etc. It's a simple apps that have been developed on Salesforce One, allowing them to answer all these questions. So that's an example to say this clienteling concept in stores, empowering your employee, is something that can be done everywhere, especially for food retailer. So that's like one thing. Then Orsay is truly a trailblazer for NRF. We try to quite like heavily promote this customer because they are really good. So it's they have Commerce Cloud, they have Service Cloud, they have Marketing Cloud, they have Community, they have Heroku, they have basically more or less all the cloud. I think here it's a focus on customer service, and you see a few things. On the side notes, they are the first one who are implementing it, the first one in Europe who are implementing Einstein Analytics. So I was telling you before about markdown optimization. I think markdown optimization is truly a core topic for a lot of retailers. How can I optimize my markdown? How can I make sure that I promote to the right people at the right moment, the right article? And actually, with smart data discovery and with Einstein Analytics, that's what they are implementing. And so basically, the end goal of this project and of Einstein Analytics is to send to each store manager every week like a list saying, okay, store manager, that's the article that you're gonna promote. So the pink dress, like the red T-shirt, and etc. That's the price at which you will mark down this product, etc. So it's really an important and interesting play that you can share with your customers. And actually on this exact piece and on the Orsay story, so not ready yet, but we will have a super nice interview of the Daniel Gehring, the COO, that shared with us a few thoughts on that like a few weeks ago at NRF. So more to come on that one. Then we were discussing about franchises management or B2B CRM. I think What & See is a nice example of that one, with the retail execution app and all the store all the field sales people, they can like use a Salesforce app to do the ordering and to make sure that their visits are quite like well done. On that exact topic, I think what is quite interesting to see is what has been shared by What & See, but also by Philip Morris, like with us. I think when we discuss about this retail execution like topic, most of the CPG and most of the retailers, what they are telling us, it's yes, or field sales, they need a mobile, online, and offline application, which is for us not a challenge because we have been used to do that, but which add complexity and which say that this project, they are not plug and play. They are most of the time a bit long to deploy, etc. We need to partner with ISV, even if now we have field service like doing things in that space. But anyway, I think the approach of What & See and the approach also of Philip Morris is quite interesting. And the approach is the following. Let's say for the vision, let's envisage the vision. And in that vision, internet is everywhere, so we don't need to worry about online and offline. Let's do a purely online application, and let's use like the standard Salesforce one tools to make sure we can do it in a scalable way, in a quick way, and we can roll out our solution quite quickly. And so that's what Wait&See has chosen, and I think that's quite an interesting approach with integration with SAP, ERP to do all the ordering, etc., etc. Okay. Then on connected operation, so I'm not going to share the video. It's actually a video from Procter and Gamble, but we can do things. So here, once again,
I can actually go in and find a badge to recognize.
actually it's a play which is I think quite interesting. It's play that can be taken from the manufacturing industry, but yes, we can help people in factory to make sure that the processes are well done. And here I engage you to watch this video, which is an internal one, but which is super interesting. So that was unconnected stores in a nutshell. Now unconnected shoppers, quickly. I think I have only one slide, so let me do a bit of a voiceover on that one. So employee life cycle management, that's what I'm going to share in a sec with Walmart. But in terms of employee engagement, so here you see CPG brand, but I think the play is really similar. So Mars shared at not last Dreamforce, but 1 year ago, like the Dreamforce before, the way they are developing HR portal using Salesforce in like the entire world, which is I think quite interesting for you to know. With Unilever, that's the way we entered Unilever with these employee topics. So I think it's good to remind and coming back to the employee trend. Yes, employee can be really a good topic to start a relationship with a customer. And then Pernod Ricard, you might know this video, which is a bit outdated, but video from Alexandre Ricard sharing how Chatter transformed the way they collaborate between their BU, between countries, and etc. So that's in terms of employee engagement. In terms of employee productivity, I think interesting to share. So nothing public yet, but as I was saying at the beginning of this video, it has been really a key differentiator for Auchan when we managed to say, okay, your employee, they are part of the transformation, and your employee, they need to be put on the same platform as your end consumer. And basically what they are doing, it's still under development, but they are creating a center of excellence in Portugal with 50 people who are going to be Salesforce trained, and their job will be to develop Salesforce application. So to develop applications, on Salesforce platform, application for any type of use cases, and application for in-store app, like the Yumbo app that we saw, maybe application for expense, application for employee engagement, etc., etc. But I think this this approach is quite interesting. So let me just come back on that piece on Walmart, because I think it's really an interesting one, and congrats to the Ignite team for the great job. I think in terms of what actually is deployed, it's maybe not everything, but the great work that we have been doing with Walmart and with the Ignite team is to rethink their onboarding, the onboarding process of Walmart. Walmart noticed that they have a lot of intern every summer, and the intern, they are not completely satisfied with their experience with Walmart, and the intern, when they leave, most of the time they don't want to come back, or etc., etc. So they said, no, it's really a bad thing for us. We need to think at our employee, we need to think at our intern as consumer, as we think about consumer, to put them really in the center. So basically what they thought was to create journeys for their intern using Journey Builder, basically, and to say, I don't know, 30 days before starting the internship, they receive an email. In this email, there is a short video about Walmart saying, hey, we are super happy to have you, to welcome you in 30 days, etc., etc. Then 1 week before, maybe another email. Then 1 week after, maybe a checklist saying, okay, did you do that and that? Did you download the apps for you, etc., etc. And so everything is done on the app. Also, when you are the employee and we are the intern, you have an app that helps you and that guides you in all these processes. And I think this is quite an interesting use case. And here, actually, you see a few. So that's an internal slide, but just like the great work that has been done by the Ignite team. And here you see some screenshot of the app, so you can like log your profile. Here you see a few a few KPI for the manager to ensure that people are using the app. Here you can see like some badge that are done. Like you can have learning video, etc., etc. And here you see like the journey that has been designed for the intern. And basically, that's what we can do with my Trailhead, which is, I think, a super interesting topic to bring to your customer. Okay, just so that was in a nutshell Salesforce value proposition for retail with some of the best EMEA stories that we need altogether. We need to master in terms of where to find the best resources. So here I put a few link to like marketing video with La Durée, Aldo, Adidas, Dunkin' Donuts, etc. Like to some Dreamforce session, etc., etc. I think, and I really engage you to visit our IBD website. So let me show you. So you saw. So on the EMEA retail sales channel group, which is this one, you have like a link, EMEA IBD retail website. This is the website, and here that's where we put all the nice resources that you can find. So there is a section on value proposition, on customer stories, on resources. For instance, here I'm under the value proposition section, and so you see by sub industry you have some nice deck that you can use. So deck for apparel, deck for food and drug, deck for e-tailer, etc., with like a lot of all the stories slides that we have. So it's like big file, and of course, if you want to use them for presentation, select slides. But so that's on value proposition. And then in terms of customer stories, I think it's also quite interesting to say, okay, food and drug, what are the top 5 stories that I need to master? What are the link to the material I can check to have more information? So Lidl, Yumbo, etc., etc. So that's, I think, a good asset for you to regularly check, and I really engage you to bookmark this IBD website. Okay, thank you. So now I'm gonna play a short video that has been done by ex-Demandware team. I think, and that's and so that's will be the first focus, and then the second focus will be on Customer 360. On a side note, from my understanding, really, when you discuss this Commerce Cloud topic, it's like the first starting point of the discussion is often a discussion cloud versus on-premise. That's something for the other cloud people that might have been a bit like forgotten, because we take that most of the time as a given with sales cloud, marketing cloud, etc., etc. But for Commerce Cloud, from my understanding, it's really a core discussion to have at the beginning, and to really show the interest, and really show the interest of the cloud versus all the on-premise solutions. So basically, that's a 6 minutes video that I'm going to play now. That's really a video that I think is super interesting, and this concept are really for everybody in the retail industry to master. So let me play it.
This tutorial models how you can deliver your point of view whiteboard to the executive responsible for the growth of the business through commerce. Your story is meant to be delivered live in front of your prospect using a whiteboard or any writing surface like a flip chart, a piece of paper, or a touchscreen device, anywhere you can draw during a conversation. Or if you're meeting remotely, you can use your PowerPoint version of the hand-drawn story. The point of view whiteboard is specifically designed to ensure your prospect conversation is engaging and memorable. It opens by grabbing the prospect's attention with an unknown or underappreciated problem and amplifies the problem to illustrate how it puts one of the customer's strategic goals at risk. Then it puts a stake in the ground, showing how the current status quo is no longer safe by painting a distinct picture of their challenges. Next, it clearly defines a contrasting point of view that will help the prospect move away from their status quo so they can address these issues in a new, safer way and realize the value they're looking for. Watch the rest of this video to learn the content, then rehearse your whiteboard to make it your own. These numbers highlight the challenges executives like you who are responsible for the growth of your business are facing today. In a Forrester Research survey, 80% of retailers said their legacy commerce technology hampers the release of the new consumer-facing features they need to compete. This impacts not just e-commerce, but the entire business, because according to Deloitte, more than 50% of in-store retail sales is influenced by digital experiences. Put these factors together, and you can see why Amazon's business is growing at an average rate of 25% annually, while the average retailer's online sales only grow at around 15% per year. That means that Amazon is taking share away from the average retailer every day. Let's take a closer look at some of the challenges related to these numbers. We hear from your peers in retail that new technologies and trends are driving an exponential growth in consumer expectations and demands, making it challenging to keep up and grow revenue year over year. This increase in expectations is caused by a number of factors. For instance, the emergence of technologies and new channels like smartphones, tablets, other mobile devices, and social media means consumers spend a lot of time connected to your brand in new ways, creating new expectations. Other retailers, both established and emerging, are also pushing consumer expectations up. As I mentioned earlier, Amazon creates tremendous competitive pressure on other retailers, partly by meeting consumer expectations so well. Traditional retailers such as Macy's are also pushing up consumer expectations by changing their model to offer same-day delivery from 50 of their stores. Meanwhile, innovative new entrants are also having an impact. Many of these innovators are in retail, such as Warby Parker and Birchbox. But even companies outside of retail, like Uber, are making consumers impatient with traditional business. Finally, the globalization of commerce makes keeping up with consumer expectations even harder, because those expectations differ from region to such varying degrees. If you're like most retailers we talk to, your attempts to keep up with consumer expectations are hobbled by legacy technology. At one point, your commerce experience may have come close to meeting consumer expectations, perhaps when you first launched your e-commerce presence, but as consumer expectations kept increasing, what you provided soon no longer measured up. Updating or adapting to new realities can move you closer to fulfilling consumer expectations. You can build more data centers, write code, bring on new partners, add new technology stacks and new geographies, or upgrade your e-commerce platform to a new version. But because of the time required to implement these kinds of projects, it's impossible to completely catch up. Each time you make one of these investments, such as upgrading your platform or introducing new capabilities, you have to evaluate the market, buy more modules or licenses, apply them to fit your implementation, and test them before you can move into production. That takes a lot of time and a lot of know-how, which is already spread thin across your organization. And after doing so, you still aren't consistently meeting consumer expectations. You can see the gap between consumer expectations and your ability to meet them starting to grow. Even if you throw a lot of money and resources at the problem, you can't stay ahead of the curve. If you invest in serial commerce platform upgrades, your business falls behind by the time they're implemented. And any other change also takes a tremendous amount of time in a world that moves faster every day, so you're always behind. Every moment you fall short of consumer expectations, you're missing revenue opportunities. The fewer your resources to keep up with expectations, the more you miss. But not keeping up with consumer expectations has a worse long-term impact than merely missing revenue opportunities. Consistently failing to live up to consumer expectations diminishes your brand value. This is especially true for millennials and Generation Z, who are fast becoming your most important consumer. They're embracing digital experiences more than any previous generation. If you can't present a compelling digital experience for these consumers, your brand value will plummet to the point where it can't recover. You're at a critical juncture in your business. You need a path forward that allows you to get your brand ahead of the curve of accelerating consumer expectations. The key is to build agility and innovation into your commerce process so that you don't just meet consumer needs, but capitalize on them. By doing that, you'll be better positioned to drive continued business growth. You'll safely innovate in ways that allow you to keep up with consumers. You'll eliminate the stair-stepping approach to trying to keep up and, more importantly, recover lost revenue and prevent brand erosion. Other retailers like you have found the right path forward by choosing to work with Demandware. What I'd like to do next is review in more detail the reasons why most retailers struggle to keep up with consumer expectations and how Demandware can help.
So that's the video, and I think that's the pitch that every one of us should master when we discuss this e-commerce topic. Hope you found it interesting. A second focus for those who have not seen this great demo done during the sales kickoff, is around Customer 360 demo. So let me quickly show you this demo. It's 6 minutes, but I think it's super important for all of us to know that.
And just like to be here because I get to share with you the best 6.5 minutes of your day. Sorry, Yo-Yo Ma. This is going to be better. So what I want to show here, we're going to help bring Customer 360 to life and show you how it comes to life on the Salesforce platform. And really what that means is we ask ourselves a very simple question, which is what if we took the onus away from our customers and having to connect all of their clouds and work and data sources and build that single view of their customer. They're all trying to do it today. They're spending millions of dollars to do it. What if we took that onus away? What would it enable? Well, we think what it'll, don't need it, sorry. We think that what it'll enable is rapid innovation, not just from within our own clouds. Our own cloud product teams will be able to rapidly begin to innovate, but also from our SIs, from our partners, and from our industry teams. It's something we're super excited about. We're going to show you exactly what that looks like here. A couple little housekeeping things before we get started. One, we're going to do this in the context of Ralph Lauren. We're all wearing a little Ralph Lauren today. They are the official apparel provider of the U.S. Olympic team. And so we're going to look at what a connected commerce and service experience might look like for Ralph Lauren and how we go ahead and get that all set up. And then lastly, just quick shouts out to Kara on the ones and twos in the demo booth helping us go here. And to my amazing team back home who couldn't all be here today, who have really helped us over the last few months put this vision together. Thank you guys. Hope we make you proud here. Okay, so here we are in Integration Builder. As Brett mentioned, this is the new place in Salesforce where our admins go to connect all of their data sources, to design and implement their single view of their customer, and then ultimately to enable these out-of-the-box integrations that are important for their business. So here in the middle, you can see all of the different types of data sources that you can add. So as you might expect, you've got your Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, Commerce, et cetera, all of the kind of standard Salesforce data sources. But you've also got third-party data sources down there on the bottom. Now that's kind of your pro view. We really want to make this as prescriptive as possible. We want to enable admins to do as much of this as possible without having to get down and write code. So if we zoom out and take a look up at the top right, you can see we've got a couple getting started guides here. So the entire experience of connecting your data sources and building this view is a guided experience that we want to enable the admins to be able to do. And these are some of the common use cases that we're hearing from our customers. So let's take it a few more, look at a few more. We'll click See All Guides. And here's all of our integration guides. So you can imagine here, these are all of the out-of-the-box experiences that we're creating as Salesforce, either as our individual clouds, but you can also imagine SIs and partners being able to put integration guides in here as well, or even industries. So instead of our partners connecting directly to our cloud and building integrations into our cloud, what they're effectively doing here is they're connecting into a data model. And that data model, as you might expect, is the customer. We're a CRM company, and that's what we think is important. Now, we're Ralph Lauren. We want to enable a really amazing service for commerce experience. And so we're just going to take a look at what that would look like. So we'll click Learn More on Enable Service for Commerce. And we're just going to give you a real quick preview here of everything that this enables. So you can kind of see we're connecting commerce data into here. We're connecting some loyalty management pieces. We'll get into more of this in a little bit. We're actually going to jump into the Service Cloud and show you what it looks like. So let's go ahead and start the guide. Okay, so here is the guided experience to get this all set up. And this is what your admins will actually go through. So the first thing you need to do, as you might expect, is you need to connect some data sources. So we'll go ahead and do that. This is Service for Commerce, so it knows that the first two data sources that we need at a minimum are one Commerce Cloud and one Service Cloud. So let's go ahead and click Commerce Cloud. We're going to go through kind of the OAuth handshake here of enabling this connection into Integration Builder. And so we've got our Commerce Cloud connected there. Just in the interest of time, we're going to click through and magically a bunch of other data sources are going to show up. But I want to call out a few things here. So as you can see, we've got our Commerce Cloud, but we've also got 3 service clouds. As Brett said, we heard again and again that multi-org is just as important as multi-cloud. And so we're able to bring in all of those different service cloud data sources. But lastly, we've connected a third-party data source in SessionM. Now, if you're not familiar with SessionM, they're an industry-leading loyalty management provider for some of the biggest retailers and QSRs in the world. And they have tons of data about Ralph Lauren's customer that's every bit as important as what's in Service Cloud and Marketing.
Okay, so sorry for that. There have been I don't have enough space on my laptop. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see the entire video, you have a link. I posted a link on the EMEA Retail Sales Chat group. Look for Customer 360. Hope this enablement piece have been interesting for you, and see you all in Barcelona. Bye bye.